Liam Carter was the kind of man people noticed when he walked into a room, tall, sharp-jawed, expensive watch glinting beneath rolled-up sleeves, the heir to Carter Construction, a third-generation family business that practically built half the town, and he wore his privilege like a cologne, confident and casual, unaware it reeked of something only those on the outside could smell. And when he stopped one foggy Monday morning at Benny's Gas and Grill off Route 82 for coffee and a breakfast wrap, he barely glanced at the girl behind the counter except to note she was attractive in a small-town sort of way, soft brown eyes, neat ponytail, a face too beautiful for this dusty place, and yet, there she was, wearing a faded apron and old sneakers, wiping down the counter like it was all she'd ever known, and though she handed him his change with a quiet, "Have a good day," Liam didn't say thanks. He didn't even really look at her, because to him, Ava Matthews was nobody, just another background character in the movie of his life, but what he didn't know, what he never paused long enough to consider, was that Ava had once been a rising star, a prodigy who built her first mobile app at 14, the kind of girl teachers whispered about with admiration, who earned a full ride to MIT before life ripped the rug out from under her. Her mother died of a sudden aneurysm the week after graduation, and her father, crushed and crumbling, fell into drinking and debt, and Ava, the girl with brains enough to build empires, dropped everything to care for her 9-year-old brother Eli, working double shifts at the gas station by day and studying coding tutorials by night on a second-hand laptop she found in a donation bin. Every line of code she wrote was a silent rebellion against her circumstances, every algorithm a thread she wove toward a different future. But to Liam, she was just the girl who refilled coffee pots and packed his takeout, and he treated her accordingly, tossing casual comments her way like, "You'd be dangerous if you had a brain to match that pretty face," or, "How's it feel working nowhere with all that potential," thinking himself clever, not cruel, unaware of the silent wound such words leave behind, because Ava never reacted, never argued, just smiled faintly and returned to her work, and Liam mistook that silence for simplicity. Never realizing that some storms brew quietly, some dreams sharpen in the shadows, and the ones you dismiss might be the ones who define your fate, and so, the visits continued, Liam stopping by every Friday like clockwork, flashing his smile, dropping sarcastic compliments, while Ava listened, absorbed, and kept building something far beyond his imagination. A data-driven AI tool designed to detect learning disabilities in early childhood using behavioral pattern recognition, inspired by Eli, who struggled in school not because he wasn't smart, but because no one had caught his dyslexia until Ava did, and when she finally uploaded her program to an open-source platform, she didn't expect much, just hoped someone, somewhere, might use it, but within a week, educators began to share it, nonprofits took notice, a small tech blog wrote about her, then a larger one, and within 2 months she was invited to Austin to present her work at a Youth Innovation Summit, where she stunned the panel, not with theatrics, but with substance, clarity, and quiet brilliance. A scholarship followed, then a mentorship with a startup founder who saw in Ava what no one at Benny's ever did, and just like that, she packed up Eli, hugged her drunken father goodbye, and started a new life in a city where her mind, not her looks, opened doors, where Eli got therapy and a great school, and where Ava blossomed, slowly but powerfully, into a tech entrepreneur driven not by profit, but by purpose. Meanwhile, back home, Liam's world began to wobble. His father retired unexpectedly due to illness, leaving Liam to helm the company during an economic downturn, and when a luxury apartment complex they built collapsed from poor materials and oversight, lawsuits flew, clients fled, and within months, Carter Construction filed for bankruptcy protection. Liam's truck got repossessed, his penthouse was traded for a 1-bedroom rental, and the friends who once rode his coattails vanished with the champagne, and so, humbled and broke, Liam did something he never imagined. He applied for a job at a new AI-powered educational software company he'd read about, desperate for work, clinging to whatever scraps of pride remained, and when he entered the sleek office and sat in the glass-paneled interview room, his heart stopped cold when Ava Matthews walked in, wearing a blazer, holding an iPad, and smiling the same calm smile she always had, except now it wasn't tired, it was powerful, controlled, gracious. "Hello, Liam," she said, her voice gentle, like wind before a storm, and Liam stumbled through the interview, shame heavy on his tongue, trying to explain away old jokes and youthful arrogance, but Ava didn't interrupt, didn't chastise, didn't even smirk. She just listened, then thanked him for coming in and said, "Everyone deserves a second chance," and as she stood to leave, she paused and added softly, "It's how we treat people when we think they're nothing that reveals everything about who we are." Liam didn't get the job, but he got something else. Clarity, perspective, and a crushing awareness of how far his words had traveled and how deeply they had wounded, and from that day forward, he vowed to change, not because he wanted Ava's approval, but because he finally understood what it meant to have none, to be on the outside looking in, and so he started over, attending community coding classes, repairing laptops, fixing fences to make ends meet, eventually launching a small freelance service helping rural schools digitize their curriculum. And though he never saw Ava again in person, her name was everywhere: keynotes at conferences, articles on social impact entrepreneurship, even a TED Talk titled, "Invisible No More," where she spoke about growing up overlooked, underestimated, and how every insult fueled her mission to build technology that sees the unseen. And in one quiet moment, Liam wrote her an email. Not asking for anything, just thanking her, apologizing, telling her how she'd changed his life not through revenge, but through grace, and though she never replied, he kept that draft saved, reminder that the past could not be rewritten, only learned from. And over time, Liam built a reputation not as the heir to anything, but as a man who showed up, listened, and lifted others, mentoring students who reminded him of Ava, speaking in small classrooms about the dangers of arrogance, the gift of humility, and the hidden power of kindness, because in the end, the biggest mistake he made was not the cruel words or the smug remarks, it was failing to see the fire behind the quiet, the strength in the soft-spoken, the brilliance cloaked in survival. And now he tells anyone who'll listen, that if you ever meet someone who seems invisible, someone who goes unnoticed, unheard, unthanked, pause, look again, and offer respect, because you might be looking at someone who will one day change the world, and how you treat them now might become the story they carry with them forever.